This is just a little bit of like church trivia to set up something for you here. Our reading cycles are 3 years, 3-year cycles. So we have year A, B, and C. Our lay readers know this, but y'all may not know this. So, I don't pick these readings. The lay readers don't pick the readings. They're on a 3-year cycle, year A, B, and C. And the year starts over in Advent. So today started year A all over again. So our readings are from the Gospel of Matthew. So I've been a priest coming up this week, I've been a priest 15 years. So 5 cycles ago, we were starting this cycle. It was my first time ever preaching in Advent. And I thought, man, I am going to finally get to preach on the end times in this Matthew reading. And I did, right? Because I was a new priest. I'm like, oh man, the reason why people don't understand the end times is because I haven't explained it to them yet, right? That's how new clergy think, right? And I remember after service in one of the pews, just like in your bulletin, there was like a poinsettia form. And where a family was sitting, it was a teenage girl and her mother. And I know the family to this day. I picture them. I still know them, still talk to them. And on the back of the poinsettia form, they were writing notes back and forth. And the first one was from the teenage daughter. It said, "Mom, you told me church would be jolly today because it's Christmas time. This sermon is not jolly." And the mother wrote back, no, it's not. Right? So that's right. I should have framed that and kept that in my office. So I will tell you today, if you're expecting jolly, I just need to reset your expectations. Not jolly yet. Maybe as we head into December, we'll head into jolly. But, Advent is a time when the church has historically, for 1,000 years plus, thought about not just Jesus' birth in Bethlehem, not just that story, but also the promise that Jesus will return. So we're going to have Advent readings that point a little to both. And so this week, especially as we start Advent, it's pointing to the promise that Jesus is returning. So I want to give us kind of 2 words to think about as we wrap our heads around the season of Advent and what we're supposed to do with it. Because if you ask someone, what's Advent about? It's about getting ready for Christmas. And maybe if it was a little more of a churchy answer, they'd say it's getting ready for Jesus coming. But what does that really mean? And so I want to tackle that question today. How do we get ready for Jesus? So I want to think about 2 words today that can help us kind of direct us in that. The first is promise, and the second is preparation. And so promise is what Advent's all about. It's remembering the promise that Jesus was to the people of Israel, the actual incarnation, the coming in flesh of the Messiah, the Son of God, to be among us, to live among us, to walk among us, to remember that promise was honored 2,025 years ago in Bethlehem. That is something that our faith holds very important, that this isn't just something that happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, right? This happened in real time and space. A real baby was born. And so we remember that promise, but we also think about the second part of Jesus' promise, that he would return. And oftentimes when we think about Jesus returning, it's kind of scary, right? It's not jolly. The girl was right? It's not very jolly to think about. But the reason why, even in the early days of the church, the people that knew Jesus wanted to think about it is not because they got scared when they thought about it. They actually got hopeful. They got hopeful when they thought about it. So let me explain to you how they thought. They understood the world, like we do, has a brokenness in it that is beyond our ability to fix. Now, that's not me being a cynic and just saying, why bother? Why try? It's not what I'm talking about. But there are things in this world that are broken that you and I can't fix. Illness, strife, death, to name a few. Right? We can't fix those. As much as we wish we could, and I think all of us wish we could fix Alzheimer's or cancer or Parkinson's, right? We all wish we could. We can't, right? It's just part of this broken world that we live in. It's part of our broken humanity. As much as we wish we could stop strife and anger and people from not getting along, it just doesn't seem like we can. And we definitely can't stop death. And so when the early Christians thought about Jesus, they didn't think about, oh, Jesus is going to return, ooh, scary. They thought about this: wouldn't it be great if we could see the day that Jesus comes back and gets rid of those things that we can't fix? Wouldn't it be great if we could live to see the day where Jesus comes back and there would never, ever be cancer again? Wouldn't it be great if we could see the day when Jesus comes back and there would never be dementia again? Right? So the early Christians thought about that and said, they had a word that they would use. Maranatha was the word, and it just means in Aramaic, hurry up, Jesus. Hurry up. They wouldn't say, I'm terrified of the thought. They would say, hurry up, Jesus. Like, the day you come back, if that means the day this all ends, sign me up. Sign me up. I had a parishioner when I was in Wyoming that had some health issues and she had cancer, and the cancer that she had the tumor had kind of grown into her spine. And so she was given a choice. Her name was Sally, and she was given a choice. Her choice was do nothing and just let the cancer eventually take her life, or she could seek treatment and probably gain 10 more years, but damage her spine and lose the ability to walk. Those were her two choices. Sally chose the treatment, and she was a great skier. She loved to ski, and she taught her whole family to ski, and that was hard for her to lose the ability to not only walk, but ski and do all the things that she loved. But she did it because she loved her family, loved her grandkids, wanted to see them grow. But Sally, when we would talk and have lunch together, Sally would often talk about Jesus' return like the early Christians did. So that'll be the day when I can stand up again, if I live to see it. Hurry up, Jesus, because that'll be the day I could stand again. That was the spirit that she had, and she helped me see it again through the eyes of the early Christians and see it differently, not thinking about, oh, what about all these scary things that might happen, but think about, what about all that Jesus will make right? And to think about that promise a little bit, maybe to long for it and hope for it. And so Advent, the first thing Advent's about is thinking about the promise. And just like Jesus came and was good on his promise to be one of us, he'll be good on his promise to come back in his time, not ours. And that's the hard part, because we want to know when. Everybody wants to know when. The disciples wanted to know when. Our gospel is about them asking him when, right? And we all want to know when. Every generation wants to know when. And the truth is, we don't know. None of us know. And if anybody ever says they know, they're lying. Because Jesus told us no one knows. He didn't say no one knows except for some guy on TikTok 2,000 years from now. He knows, but until then, no one knows, right? He didn't say that. He said no one knows. He said it's a guarded secret, if you can believe that. In heaven, it's a guarded secret. He said the Father, he doesn't even tell the angels. They don't know. If an angel came and said, here's when the world's going to end, that's not an angel, because they don't know. Jesus told us that. The Father does not even tell the angels of the hour. It's his alone. When he decides, that's time. So we don't know. So we kind of wait and hold to the promise that one day Jesus is going to come and make things right. But maybe we don't live to see that day, but we know all of us one day are going to stand before him when our time ends. If we don't live to see that day, we will certainly get our day, and we'll live to see that come, the end of our life, and we'll stand before him. So whether we live to see the day or we live to see our day, Advent calls us to prepare. It's the second word for today, preparation, to prepare. And how might we do that? That's what Jesus calls us to be ready, to prepare. Well, I think we know a lot about preparing. We just sell ourselves short when we think about this. I saw a meme earlier this week, and it's so true. They said if you're going to someone's house for Thanksgiving, compliment their baseboards because that's what they're spending Monday cleaning, getting ready for having people over, right? You know, if you had people over for Thanksgiving, you know there's a certain level of preparation that has to happen. Whether it was cleaning, cooking, getting things ready, cleaning out the guest room closet just in case, whatever it was, you know that there's certain things we have to do when we're having company, we're having guests. We prepare, right? You know how to prepare for Christmas in the sense of you know who you need to get gifts for, you know when you need to get them by, you know your timeline of when you're going to see these people. So, if you're getting this gift for someone that you're going to be at a party with them and on this date, you know when you need to do these things. You know how to prepare. So it's not as hard as we think. The question we need to ask ourselves is this: if we really thought we were going to see Jesus on December 25th, if we were going to stand face to face with him on December 25th, what would we do between now and then? Now, full disclosure, we're going to see Jesus, the Son of God, not somebody that we could pull one over on. He knows what our search histories are and how much time we spend on social media. He knows all those things, right? We can't trick him. We can't fool him. So if we were going to stand before him on December 25th, what would we need? What would we feel led to do to get ready? Is there something, if we were going to stand face to face with him in a month, that we would say, I probably need to do less of this? It's not good for me. Is there something that we might say, I probably need to do more of this? It's good for me and I've been neglecting it. Or is there a rift that we might want to mend before that day comes? My guess is you all know what those things might be. So the best way to prepare for Jesus in Advent, if we use this season for that, is to think about that question. If December 25th, I was going to stand before Jesus and he was going to have a conversation about my whole life and nothing was going to be hid from him, what would I do between now and then? And if we use Advent this year to prepare for Jesus, whatever that thing that came into our mind was, we probably should do that. In the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.